He said, look back at it. It is pretty funny that like when he got on that Ozempic shit, okay? When he got on that Ozempic shit, he just lost. He has no ass. Like zero. He's got the Hank Hill butt. He lost everything, dude. Please, case, how much funerals cost in the U.S.? Holy shit. No, it's probably like relocation, funeral, like a bunch of stuff. Show your credit card numbers on stream as you do it, or it's not legit. Yeah, and my address too. All right. Let's get to the news, okay? Okay. The judges set the Trump trial date in 2020 election case. We covered this yesterday briefly. It's going to start in March 4th, right up on Super Tuesday. That's the federal one. The other one that's happening is happening much faster. Vivek went on Sean Hannity, and Sean Hannity ate his ass a little bit, which is crazy. Vivek is just getting owned left and right by everybody. And I will admit that one thing that I was very deeply and undesirably, one thing that I was very deeply frustrated by with Vivek was how like annoying of a debate lord he was. And I think that he tries a little too hard and is basically like an Indian Blake Masters with a little bit better rhetoric than Blake Masters. Like he dialed back on the school shooter aspect. Like if there were like a bunch of different skill sets that these candidates had, if you guys remember Blake Masters in Arizona, he maxed out on the school shooter vibes, right? But he was very much the same like cutthroat businessman who very clearly was saying the right lines for a hyper online community of right-wing Republicans to hear. Okay? And Vivek is definitely doing that. Ron DeSantis tried doing that as well and has failed thus far. Not everyone can do it like Donald Trump, who people are invested in because he's Donald Trump. Now, Blake Masters looked like a major creep to the average American, and that's why he got absolutely destroyed. Vivek is like Indian Blake Masters, but not as much as a school shooter, but instead a school debater. Okay? He gives off debate club vibes. Like his smarminess and his insistence on like just constantly trying to have an argument, a conversation, I think is very annoying for the average American. At first, I thought, you know, he's hitting all the Trump lines and I think people will like him. But now I realize it's more so just an online phenomena. I think that it's more so just people online that will like him. I mean, obviously, I've said time and time again that there was no shot he was winning regardless. But I do feel like his attitude, the way he operates, the way he carries himself, and how interested he is in having a conversation, okay? I think those qualities make him unlikable, okay? I don't think these qualities make him likable. I think they make him annoying. So much so that Eminem has sent him a cease and desist. Eminem to the presidential candidate Vivek Ramaswamy, stop using lose yourself. He has roasted Vivek Ramaswamy, who went viral for rapping an Eminem song. Now the presidential candidate has been rebuffed by the Detroit Star. BMI, the licensing organization that oversees the public performance of Eminem's songs, delivered a cease and desist letter last Wednesday to the Ohio Republican demanding that Ramaswamy stop performing Eminem's music. It's pretty funny to be like an Eminem guy and constantly sing Eminem when you know he's like a massive lib. Like, he's a huge lib. He's like a Hillary Clinton style liberal too. Like, he'll rap about like he'll rap about like how, you know, guns are bad or how abortion should be protected and shit. You know what I mean? He's like very openly rapped about those things to a degree where it's like kind of corny, as a matter of fact. You know what I mean? Like, he's, yeah, Trump is orange. What can you rhyme with orange? Porridge. That's that type of shit. The letter was first reported by the UK's Daily Mail and was confirmed to the Free Press Monday by a representative for Eminem. Yeah, that's an awfully hot coffee pot. Should I pour it on Donald Trump? Probably not. Fuck. Anyway, he God damn it. Here's old Vivek. What is happening to me? I rap too hard. The Eminem curse is real. Okay, so here's young Vivek in 2004, still behaving in the same exact way.
Question, go ahead. Reverend Sharpton, hello. I'm Vivek, and I want to ask you, last week on the show we had Senator Kerry, and this week and the week before we had Senator Edwards. And my question for you is, of all the Democratic candidates out there, why should I vote for the one with the least political experience?
Well, you shouldn't, because I have the most political experience. I got involved in the political...
What a throwback, dude. Al Sharpton. Fat Al Sharpton. Goddamn. It's so funny.
Movement when I was 12 years old. And I've been involved in social policy for the last 30 years. So don't...
Before he was putting that shit on, even then he was putting that shit on. Al Sharpton has never not put that shit on. Even back, like way back in the day when he was like majorly invested in like, black nationalist movements and stuff like that, which is why like Republicans were like, he's a race pimp. He is a hustler. He's a race hustler. He's a scary man. He's a terrorist. You know what I mean? Even back then, he was still putting that shit on. He's never not put that shit on. I think the greatest photo of all time is the 0.5 angle that he took before 0.5 was even a thing by Zoomers. You know what I'm talking about? When he's like strutting his shit in the bathroom. Let me see if I can find that selfie. I mean, this is like, obviously we love political selfies. Greg Giraldo being another famous one, but like, this is the GOAT. This is the best. Look at this shit. Who does that, man? I mean, who has the courage? Who really? Yeah, he was so bad for this. Yeah, a bad bitch, you mean? Because that's true. He hasn't stopped, by the way. He still does it every now and then. He is the king of the selfies. Look at this. He said, look back at it. It is pretty funny that like when he got on that Ozempic shit, okay? When he got on that Ozempic shit, he just lost. He has no ass. Like zero. He's got the Hank Hill butt. He lost everything, dude. It's just his head size was so perfectly valid for the former body that he had. Then he lost all the fucking weight. And now it just looks like he's got a massive head on like a child's body. With the fucking, with the fucking Hank Hill butt too. What happened to you, but backwards? Yeah, he is the reverse Hasan. Anyway, this is not a Photoshop pic. No. Anyway, let's continue.
Confuse people that have a job with political experience. Whoever the head of some local bureaucracy has a job in Cambridge. That doesn't mean that they have political experience, and it doesn't mean they have the experience to run the United States.
What the fuck? A very incredibly rare striker 6 not shit pose. Unfortunately, I work in pharma. I met Vivek in person and worked on his failed Alzheimer's drug for 2 years, which was his first project, RVT 101. His string of Vant companies are the worst pharma industry practices times 10. They bought decent molecules and pumped every dollar they could out of them in stock price, knowing they could never be successful drugs. Not a shit pose. That's crazy. A very incredibly rare striker 6 not shit post moment. This is, I've never seen this man sincere pose. He broke character. That's wild. Casually breaking some NDM shirt? No, that's not. Everybody knows that Vivek's first big entry into the pharma field was literally a failed Alzheimer's drug that, as we talked about many times over now, had failed 4 times on trials, and he literally just did a perfectly legal pump and dump, pretty much. Made out like a bandit. It's super common. It happens in pharmaceuticals all the time. It's gotten significantly worse with the VC Silicon Valley types entering the fray. Yeah, I saw Kanye got caught getting head in Italy. I saw. It was kind of weird. I'm conflicted on that one. I predicted the Eminem thing over 2 weeks ago. I hope Eminem calls Vivek to stay, stops playing my song. That song is for Obama Libs gym playlist and nothing else. True. Yeah.
Government. So I think that we confuse title holders with political experience, as we have seen with the present occupant in the White House. George Bush was a governor and clearly has shown he doesn't have political experience.
Wow. He was Vivek back then was a libtard getting George Soros bucks, you know what I'm saying? Anyway, nowadays our boy Vivek is running around doing the most, trying to be like the smarmiest, most annoying debate lord you could possibly be. And one of the things that he's been doing is just consistently going on news broadcasts and getting cumstered. I don't know why he has chosen to do this. I don't know why he keeps going on news broadcasts and then they keep owning him. And it's like people like Dana Bash, which normally you don't expect to own anybody, really. It is really, really, really sad. A sad state of affairs that the debate lord is trying to come across like he's getting some owns and just ends up getting owned instead. And it's not even just from the likes of Dana Bash or MSNBC hosts. I forget this lady's name. It's even from Sean Hannity because of his obscure ass foreign policy positions that are completely beyond the pale for mainstream media, which has a damn near bipartisan consensus on what America is going to do on its foreign affairs. That is like the major reason, Andrea Mitchell. Okay, thank you. That is one of the major reasons why he keeps getting yelled at. It's pretty funny. It's like they're not even getting mad at his like Republican shit for the most part. They're usually getting mad even on the Republican side. They're getting mad at things that he is saying about foreign policy, like how he claims he's not going to give money to Israel or some shit. Okay, you can't do that. Or how he thinks like Russia will be our ally against the war against China that's coming up. It's like such an odd line. It is such an odd thing to defend when you're running for president, when Americans are just across the board united. Like, Republicans are united on this shit. Democrats are united on this shit. Democrats yell at other Democrats that stray away from the mainstream perspective. Like, how do you not see that? Are you that incapable of reading the room? Anyway, it's very odd. It's very odd to see. It's like an unsubscribed member at the top of the hour thinking that you're not gonna see an ad. You're gonna see an ad at the top of the hour. Like, read the room. Now, of course, if you no longer want to see those ads, all you need to do is subscribe for $5 or free with a Twitch Prime by connecting your Amazon Prime account to your Twitch account. You get one free Prime subscription. Use it on your favorite broadcaster. Here's the 3-minute ad break now.
So that means you would not have certified the results that night before midnight on January 6th.
Here he is doubling down on his position that Mike Pence should have refused to certify the election on January 6th until he could employ one weird trick to unilaterally implement voter ID and change federal election law. Wait, let me see if this is on the playlist, actually. If this is on the docket, I'll watch the full one instead. Chris Christie. It's not on the docket. Okay. Let me see if I can find the full video. Because this is this from this morning? Vivek, MSNBC. No, I can't find it. Anyway, all right, let's just go after these bits and pieces.
You would not have certified the results that night before midnight on January 6th, while that was your constitutional obligation. What if Kamala Harris did that? What if Joe Biden and Kamala Harris win?
To be clear,
would she have that same authority?
To be clear, I stand by what I said.
But how could you get legislation through, sir, in, that kind of legislation through in time to certify the election? You would be violating your oath as vice president.
There would have been. So I respectfully disagree, Andrea. I stand by what I said in that interview, not what you just said that I said. I said that that's exactly.
Yeah, this is too boring. Like, people are not invested in Vivek enough to be like, yeah, actually, we should defend the integrity of his lines. Like, every time I hear from this dude, it's always, it's not what I said. I said something else, and you're saying that I didn't say the thing that I actually said, but here's what I really said. It's like, bro, no one cares. No one cares. No one cares. Stop it. Don't go on these fucking shows anymore, okay? Don't. You are not looking good. You think you're looking good. You're not looking good, okay? Like, these are not slam dunks. When Donald Trump does stuff like this, like when he course corrects or whatever, there is already an audience that is invested in what he has said, okay? And he rarely ever is like, no, you're lying. Here's what I actually said. Like, he doesn't do that. That is minutia, okay? You can't just try to consistently gaslight an entire country of news watchers all the time on really silly semantics conversations. This is literally the most, not even a debate lord, not even a debate pervert, the most debate pedophile thing you can do, okay? I'm increasing his severity of debate lordness from debate lord. He was originally a debate lord. He then turned into a debate pervert, and now I've upgraded him to the final one, debate pedophile, okay? You cannot be a debate pedophile on TV every fucking night about, like, incredibly boring semantics conversations that revolve around what you said or what you may or may not have said. Here are his polls. He's riding off the high of the original of the performance that he pulled off in the debate stage, ironically. But if he keeps this shit up, I feel like the more people see him, the more bored they're going to get. They're not, like, I don't think people look at this and go, maybe I'm wrong, but I don't think people look at this and go, wow, he's really sticking it to mainstream media. He just comes across as, like, really fucking slimy. he comes across as like really slimy and like really fucking annoying. And he's not debating on like issues that people care about. You know what I mean? Issues that Republicans care about. He's not on here being like, no, white supremacy is sick, actually. I love that shit. He's literally being like, actually, I didn't say that. Why are you saying that I said that? Please stop doing fake news on me.
In, that kind of legislation through in time to certify the election. You would be violating your oath as vice president.
There would have been. So I respectfully disagree, Andrea. I stand by what I said in that interview, not what you just said that I said. I said that that's exactly what I would have delivered, and then use that as an opportunity for heroism to reunite this country, because there are two preconditions.
He just comes across so fucking fake. Like, I don't know. I think like he is too busy trying to hit the high notes without like actually having a conversation. And I feel like, yes, Americans do hate the media. Obviously, everybody hates the media. But you know what Americans hate more than the media, especially like Republicans and shit? Like, they hate nerds. He's giving too much Blake Masters energy. It's too much Blake Masters energy. Okay? It's giving too much Blake Masters energy. And like, just like Blake Masters, he also is a product of these like elite institutions. You know what I mean? Blake Masters also loved rapping, if you guys remember. There's a lot. Many people have said he's like Andrew Yang. I think he's more like Blake Masters.
For the health of our constitutional republic. One is the peaceful transition of power. The other is public confidence in our elections. And when those come into conflict, that was a rare opportunity for heroism that I think Mike Pence missed. And
that means you would.
People change over the.
Oh, here's the. Will the real Slim Shady please stand up? Oh my God, I'm gonna fucking die.
Let me ask you finally about Eminem. They've sent you a cease and desist through the music.
Yeah, here's Blake Masters rapping. Trigger warning.
Now the press is having a day. They're getting all mad. They're looking for a fight. I'm reading the news. I'm like, this shit ain't right. What's going on here? He can't speak the truth. What if she was a sweetie? What if she was cute?
I'm not going to show you the whole thing because I don't want everyone in my community to commit harakiri. Like, collectively get into a room with like a bunch of katanas and engage in mass suicide. So I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do that to you because this is nuclear cringe, okay? This will do psychic damage. This will do psychic damage to you. This is what they play in Guantanamo Bay, okay? This is the worst level of enhanced interrogation. We're not going to do that. He raps like a racist Lin-Manuel Miranda. True. Okay, let's move on. What are those red lines? As war paint. He's doing like tribal war paint because he's like, I hate woke culture. Like I can do Indian war paint, that kind of thing.
Company to stop using "Lose Yourself on the Trail." Have you agreed to move on?
Yeah, look, I think that I'll respect his wishes, but I would just say, will the real Slim Shady please stand up? Eminem in his rise used to be a guy who actually stood up to the establishment and said the things that the establishment didn't want him to say.
Oh my God. Yeah, like fucking, like raping people or killing his mom. Like, I'm a 35-year-old former, or I'm a 38-year-old former pharma tech CEO. And I don't know why Eminem is no longer talking about raping women. What is happening? He should be talking about beating his wife and raping her like when he was cool. I think that's cool. It's like, bro, you are literally 40. Shut the fuck up, okay? What are you saying right now? You're not like a fucking cringe teenager, okay? You're running for president, dog. You're running for president. The fuck? Will the real Slim Shady please stand up? Ah, ha, ha, ha. Ah, fuck. What's wrong with 40? I'm literally 40. Yeah, if you're literally 40 and you're like, will the real Slim Shady please stand up? I like the old Eminem. Then you're fucking cringe and you should grow the fuck up and act like your age, okay? Why is it that every time I mention something, people go, why are you saying fuck me for? It's like, no, I'm not. Unless you're doing that, unless you're running around You sound Prez? Actually better than your flow, low key. True. I'm pressed. I'm jealous. I'm jealous of his vibes, dude. He's killing it. Ay, ay, ay.
I think the fact that my political viewpoints may differ from his, I think people change over the course of their lives. But I have hope for him that he will one day rediscover the renegade that made him.
This is also the classic, like, conservatives are the counterculture. They're the real counterculture, which actually it ties perfectly into the next thing that I want to show you.
Great, and I'm rooting for that success in his life.
Well, Vivek Ramaswamy, thank you for your time today. To be continued. Let's have more opportunity to talk.
Yeah, it's great. To be continued. Oh, here it is. Conservative is the new punk rock. It's no longer rage against the machine. It's rage for the machine. They love saying this.
I remember when I was growing up, I was like a mega punk rocker, and I was just super anti-establishment, super anti-system, oppression, stupid laws telling me how to think, how to live my life, people trying to dictate what I do, you know.
Yeah, like, this guy was like, no, man. If getting ugly face tattoos is illegal, put me in jail. Put me in a Supermax prison. Do you understand? I'm going to Supermax. I'm getting the worst tattoos you've ever seen.
Like super punk rock when I was a kid. Like I had a whole mohawk, it was like a foot tall for like most of my...
Honestly, H would have fucked up by not hiring this guy to be a fishman. I've never seen more of a fishman look-alike in the wild with the teeth and all. You know what I mean? He just straight up... This dude straight up looks more fishman than all the fishman on the live action One Piece, okay?
Teenage years, you know, I grew up in New York, and you know, I realized it's kind of funny. You can't really be a punk rocker and be a liberal anymore because that has become the establishment. So if you want...
Yeah, sure, fine, okay? But like, so are Republicans. Everyone's a fucking lib.
Want to be a punk rocker, you by definition have to be a conservative.
Yeah, conservatives are so punk rock, dude. Dude, I fucking love that. There's nothing dumber. There's nothing dumber than being like, dude, conservatism is counterculture. It's like every 4 years they cycle this out and they test the field. And then like the broader majority of Christian conservatives that vote for the Republican Party reliably are like, no, shut the fuck up. That's not, like, what are you talking about? No. I don't want to hire you. You have face tattoos. Get the fuck out of my store. Yeah. There's nothing that says punk rock like funding the police more, which the Democrats do, and so do the Republicans, okay? This guy better be using that Celtic nodding pattern. Our culture is not your costume. Sometimes it is, but still.
It's the weirdest thing. And like, you know, I know you're probably going to get all mad and try to defend your point. Like, oh, well, they're Christians. Like, that just makes you the bigot, strangely enough. So, good on all you Christians for being real punk rockers while the world has...
Like, they don't want that. This is like incredibly alt, incredibly niche, okay? Like, imagine a guy who has been a reliable Republican Party voter, who voted for Donald Trump, loves him. He owns an HVAC business, okay, in Indiana. Do you think that lifelong church-going, you know, Donald Trump-loving guy wants to be called fucking punk rock as a Christian? He's like, that's that devil's music, boy. Get the fuck out of my store. Fuck you mean? Punk rock? What are you saying? Like, who do you think is the median Republican voter? You think it's this fucking guy? Absolutely not. I know the liberal monoculture is so overpowering that you have like blue-haired SJWs and you have blue-haired Republicans now. Okay? Especially post-COVID, a lot of like these granola moms and shit went full-blown QAnon, right? But that is still a tiny part of the base. It's not even a part of the base, really. Have you heard Christian music? Have you ever been to an area where there's like actually just like normal Christian people around? Not like people that fucking wear their political affiliations on their sleeve, but like Americans, you know what I mean? Like regular old white bread, Wonder Bread ass Americans. Let me tell you, you walk into a fucking coffee shop, okay, in a random part of the country that is a little bit more rural, the music that they're playing is like Christian renditions. Like, you know how the ABCDFU, like, you know that song? There's like a Christian version of that. Did you know? Did you know that there's a Christian version of that song, including every other fucking song? I know all of my Midwestern Americans in the chat right now know exactly what the fuck I'm talking about. And it's like ABCD, no, it's like ABCDEF, God. No, it's something like that. It's like Kids Bop, but for Christians. Okay? Let me see if I can find it. ABCD. Is this?
I gave my life, I got Jesus on my side. Tell my sins goodbye, let the devil run and hide. I'm free, no defeat, I proclaim my victory till the end of time.
Like, you walk into a fucking coffee shop and this shit's blasting. You think that guy wants to be called punk rock? You think that motherfucker who's like, maybe this guy who's singing it wants to be called punk rock because he's a TikTok Satanist. But the people that are enjoying this music, the broader majority, not a single one of those motherfuckers want to be called punk rock. They don't want to be counterculture.
My God loves me.
Anyway. Better one.
God's will made. This is a certified church classic.
Gracious Grizzle!
Damn son of God, where'd you find this?
Oh my God, this is so stupid. Okay.
Gone ultra establishment, ultra oppression, ultra government overreach. So, yeah, you can't be big government and be...
Like, these guys have deluded themselves on TikTok, on Facebook, into thinking they're like, their mania is expressed through other facets of the Republican Party, when like the average Republican still absolutely is just like, this punk rock shit is what? I don't understand it. Like, the average Republican is threatening you with a gun when you enter their store because they think you're a criminal, okay? Because you have the ugliest tattoos I have ever fucking laid eyes on, and he should do that. It is his God-given right, okay? Now, having said that, the one aspect of this doorknob that actually does track with the rest of the conservative movement is his lack of understanding of art. Okay? Let me explain something to you. Conservatives, they can't read subtext. That's not a thing for them. Okay? They want it to be laid on thick, which is ironic because even when something is laid on thick for them, like Rage Against the Machine, okay, talking about how cops are fucking Klansmen, okay? How cops are actually a part of the Ku Klux Klan. Do you understand? Like, that is, like it, hate it, doesn't matter. How do you miss the point? How do you miss that point? It's not even subtle. It's not even subtext. It is the text. Okay? So, for those people to just like listen to that music and be like, well, you know, it seems to me like they're raging for the vaccine now, blah, blah, blah. It's like, dude, shut the fuck up. You just don't understand it. Okay?
Be a punk rocker. That makes no fucking sense at all. So, there's a shout out to all you globalists out there. Keep doing what you're doing. We'll see how long it lasts.
Yeah, dude. The punk rock scene is gonna fucking win over the minds and hearts of everyday Americans too. Anyway. This dude is so out of touch though. I'm a metalhead and most bands I know are like violently progressive. Yeah. There's definitely a huge group of punk rock chuds rising up. Dude. Nobody from Ohio. Like, first of all, there's always been skinheads, anti-Nazi skinheads, and also Nazi skinheads. There's always been like a culture of Nazi punks, but that is irrelevant in the grand scheme of things. If we're talking about like average Americans and their understanding of the world, the things they care about, or whatever the fuck, like you're crazy if you think that like, oh man, the Nazi movement is really growing prominently in the punk movement. It's like, yeah, that's nothing. That's nothing. You're talking about nothing. You're talking about a handful of people. Okay? Anyway. It's just, yeah, this is not even like a well-defined ideology for them. It doesn't matter. I guess it's like reactionary and maybe like a willingness to do violence and willingness to be contrarian that has like captivated them. So they think that that is what this is about. And that's pretty much it. Nazi punks are trying to co-opt. They've never been a significant part. And it doesn't matter. The punk scene overall is not that big. It's not like moving the needle. It's not representative of anything other than a totally isolated niche subsect of a genre. That's it. That's it. It's always been that way. It's not a real thing. There was a movie called Green Room. It was a great movie. I watched it. Yeah, about a punk band who gets stuck in a green room trying to defend themselves against a bunch of skinheads trying to kill them. Yeah, that was great. Great movie. Okay. Hannity also cooked up a sloppy steak for our boy Vivek Ramaswamy. Let's take a look.
Over some of the issues, though. You know, you said aid to Israel, our number one ally, only democracy in the region, should end in 2028, and that they should be integrated with their neighbors. I have an exact quote. You want me to read it?
That's actually... Yeah, I can tell you the exact quote. What I said is it would be a mark of success if we ever got to a point in our relationship with Israel, if Israel never needed the United States' aid. And Sean, you know how politics is played. A lot of the other professional politicians who have been threatened by my rise have used that statement to say that I would cut off aid to Israel. That's not correct. I've been
go over some of
is wild that he's doing the whole like, that's not what I said. Here's what I actually said. Oh my God. Like at a certain point, if Laura Ingraham is the only person who's like dick riding you, and even Sean Hannity is like, I can't believe you said you would deny aid to Israel, which I'm not even talking about how insane that is as a conversation piece here, that like Sean Hannity, again, substitute Israel for any other country, and you will understand how fucking insane this conversation is. Okay? Like, I cannot believe you said aid to Estonia should end by 2028 is not a conversation that you are ever going to have. Okay? It's not going to happen. People will be like, what are you talking about? Shut the fuck up. What? We're giving money to Estonia? Stop it. Okay? And the reality is, like, Vivek saying that while trying to run for president is insane. Obviously, especially considering that we know what the bipartisanship looks like on this issue. Here's another foreign policy take that, again, Vivek like kind of deviates away from the foreign policy blob, but in the weirdest ways possible, which even conservatives end up yelling at him for. because Americans are united on foreign policy. American politicians are united on foreign policy. The American media is united on foreign policy. So much so that they ripped Joe Brandon, Dark Brandon, a new asshole when he dared to do the thing that was unimaginable, which is pull out of Afghanistan. Okay? They ripped him a new asshole. I was there. I covered it. You have no fucking idea what that would mean. If we didn't support Israel, they would not be able to defend themselves. And okay, what would be the issue? Yeah. It's just like, I don't know why he has these like insane crank takes that he thinks he's going to be able to get across. Okay? Maybe he thinks that like enough of the Republican Party doesn't care about like constant flow of money to foreign countries. Like, but again, you're forgetting America First is not actually about fucking literally cutting aid to our foreign allies against waging holy battles against our foreign adversaries. It's just, you're supposed to just say that. You're not supposed to like defend it, okay? You're supposed to just say America first, time to like, you know, feed this country's hungry mouths. I'm sick and tired of like spending so much money. It's so much waste without actually describing exactly what you mean. Donald Trump, for all of his like unique, sometimes out of pocket foreign policy takes, literally never said anything about cutting aid to Israel. As a matter of fact, the Jerusalem Accords and moving the Israeli embassy to Jerusalem, which greatly accelerated Israeli violence in its apartheid state to unimaginable levels. Like all of that was done under Donald Trump, or not the Jerusalem Accords, Abraham Accords. Sorry, moving the embassy to Jerusalem and the Abraham Accords. Like, you're out of your fucking mind, brother. I think he legitimately thinks he can harness the 4chan meme machine that Trump did, not realizing they know they're being pandered to, and they're like 2K people. I know. It just screams like you think 4chan won the election for Donald Trump or something, which is so profoundly stupid.
So I'm the only presidential candidate in either party who has had the courage to say that I'm not going to embrace the one China policy, which is the posture of both political parties today. That I'm not going to just adopt strategic ambiguity. We can't afford.
The funniest part about this is that, like, in many ways, Americans don't really like give a shit until it's like right in front of them, like keys being dangled in front of their eyes. So that's why you kind of get away with like whatever the fuck the foreign policy blob wants to do, right? It's just like weird for him to be like, no, I'm going to stand up to China by saying you're going to eviscerate the one China policy, which has been basically utilized since the Nixon era. Now, most Americans just hate China. They don't think about like, they don't hate. They don't hate China because like of what China is doing to Taiwan or whatever. Like they don't give a shit. They just hate China because China spiritually is out there. This like foreign entity is out there threatening American hegemonic power. They don't even think about it on those terms. They just think like, well, those guys, they don't look like us. They're out there and they're like kind of fucking our shit up, I think. I don't really understand. I don't really know what's going on here, but I don't like it. Okay? Like, not a single person is like, yeah, I hate China because, you know, what they're doing in Taiwan is unbearable. I can't stand for this. Chiang Kai-shek, he was a brave man. We must defend his honor. What Mao did, what Mao and his forces did to them brave Chinese warriors who stood up and got absolutely cumstered and relegated to an island. Okay? We must defend their honor. We must bring it back. It's like not not a thing. Like that's not a thing. That's not a good thing to run on. Call me a lib, I don't like their lack of civil liberties and authoritarian tendencies, but don't read that as my liking or preferring America. First of all, you are a liberal, yes, but like it is nutty to me to move beyond, I'm just going to stand up to China, which is what everyone says anyway, and actually get down to like exactly how you're going to stand up to China by eviscerating the one China policy when you're not going to do that. Like, it's just not going to happen. And more importantly, there is no interest from the broader population to make that happen. Just say you're going to stand up to China, just like every other person has said in every single election cycle, and leave it at that. The one China policy has always been built on top of a lie, but a lie that was created to normalize relations with China and to ultimately utilize them as a manufacturing hub. This is an infinitely more powerful interest than anything you can put forward. You are not going to single-handedly rework half a century of foreign policy, okay, by debating Sean Hannity on it, okay, by yelling about it on Sean Hannity. America has always said one China, two systems, whatever, doesn't matter, while simultaneously funneling money and weapons, not dissimilar to the Ukrainian situation, but even older weapons in this case, to Taiwan. That's it. We got a lot of them. These weapons got to go somewhere. Let's make it work. We'll give it to Taiwan. That's it. That's what they've done. Meanwhile, the official posture has always, with some exceptions like Nancy Pelosi visiting Taiwan or whatever, has always just been, just don't rock the boat, don't rock the boat, don't rock the boat, don't rock the boat. They are an incredibly important trade partner. Okay? It's ridiculous that he's like coming in here talking about an issue that no one like actually cares about beyond just like saying fuck China and like going out the bat for it, when I know from my personal experience at least that when you speak out against foreign policy, like the established foreign policy rhetoric that's coming out of every facet of media, whether it's left or right, because there is bipartisanship there, okay, you're going to get cumstered. You're just going to get owned. It's not worthwhile. Unless you think like 4chan is going to really love it or some shit.
That we need to be clear that we will defend Taiwan. That's different from strategic ambiguity now. We have to defend Taiwan until we achieve semiconductor independence, at which point we resume our current posture of strategic ambiguity, which is exactly what the U.S. adopts.
Wait, so why don't you just keep doing strategic ambiguity? Like, this makes no sense either. Like, on its face, it doesn't make sense. Strategic ambiguity, by the way, is the American version of lying. I just want to cut through the manufactured consent for a brief moment and explain something to you. America's posture against China is just lying about it. Like, they're like, yeah, Taiwan, authoritarian, sorry, definitely not valid as a state. We fucked up on that, just like we did time and time again. Maybe we fucked up. Fucking Maoist Richard Nixon decided to implement normalization strategies with China, said, sorry about that. One nation, two systems. Okay? That's what's going on. And then they, of course, reneged on that offer immediately by continuing to give money and funds and weapons to Taiwan, right? But of course, you can't just, say that. You have to sanitize that a little bit. And how do you sanitize that in mainstream media? You sanitize that by saying, oh, we are adopting strategic ambiguity, which in layman's terms is just lying. That's what it is. It's like saying to China, yes, one nation, that's fine, under God, whatever. Or if you don't believe in God, whatever you believe in, under Xi, okay? But, you know, simultaneously, they are still beefing up Taiwanese security, right? So, having said that, don't know why Vivek is like, no, I am going to rock the boat. Like, who's asking for it?
Today. So, Sean, it's worth reminding people that right now the U.S.'s position is a one-China policy. Yeah.
Let me ask you this. At what point, for example, if Russia wanted to put nuclear weapons 90 miles south of our border in Cuba, we did have a Cuban Missile Crisis, what would your posture be there? In other words, if you're saying as long as Taiwan...
Yeah, he's mad. He's mad that, like, Russia, he's like, this is... Sean Hannity's take here is because he literally said he wants to be allies with Russia against China, which, again, is fucking nutty. Like, of course Sean Hannity is going to be like, dude, that's crazy, okay? Like, who is this for?
Semiconductor chips will help them, but after that, they're on their own?
No, actually, Sean, and that's again how my position's been caricatured. I will remind you and everybody else that right now the United States...
I'm listening.
No, it's not what I'm saying, because... Well, I'll give it to you very simply. Right now, the United States' policy towards Taiwan is a one-China policy. Donald Trump was derided. He was made fun of for daring to pick up a phone call from the Taiwanese president. The United States of America right now does not even recognize Taiwan as a nation. I view it differently.
I mean, he's not wrong. It's true. But there's a reason for why they do strategic ambiguity, which you kind of understand, which is why you also said, oh yeah, after I somehow beef up defenses for Taiwan, I will go back to strategic ambiguity. And it's like, okay, so you're not doing anything different. You claim you want to rock the boat, but then you also are not rocking the boat. It's so dumb.
I am clear that we will defend Taiwan. I'm the only politician in either party that has the courage to say it. And then I would resume. Well, I would resume the current position of the United States after we've achieved semiconductor independence. So that...
Yeah, anyone who actually wants to take on China has to be willing to completely destroy the entire global economy, and Americans would lose their treats for at least a decade. It's not a real position. Yeah, until we have actual complete slavery in this country, where like every prison is operating as a manufacturing facility in the United States of America, where they work for like a cent, okay? Where they can, where America can have competitive manufacturing output that has as low cost manufacturing as like Chinese competitors, and not just Chinese competitors, because quality of life has also improved in China dramatically over the course of the past couple of decades. We're not talking about China in like fucking early 2000s anymore. So even China has this issue now where like their manufacturing capabilities have to also be outsourced to another country half the fucking time, because their factory conditions have gotten better and their manufacturing conditions or their labor conditions have gotten better, because the people are demanding, the people are literally due to genuine urbanization and genuine improvements on their lives and genuine Chinese prosperity have turned around and been like, okay, well, you know, we need to also outsource now. And for the record, did you just say out? Are they? Yeah, yes. The memes of like, you know, Chinese factories with Chinese factories where people are getting fucking whipped and working like 90 hours a week are no longer the reality in many of these cities. I mean, look at fucking Shenzhen. Look at how much Shenzhen has developed over the course of the past couple of decades. It's just not, you know,